Hello everyone, welcome to my next edition of Autistic on Tour. We are in Kew Gardens at the moment. I'm going to see if I can find some interesting spaces, and it's reasonably busy in certain sections already, so I'm going to try and find the spaces I know that are the quiet ones and see if it's worth a trip, really. It's all set up for the Christmas at Kew stuff, so it's all got lots of extra bits in at the moment, but they're not lit, of course, because it's not the actual event yet, but they will be all lit up with some of the stuff later on. This is a bit of a put together video. I'm not going to show me walking around all the time, but let's see what we can find. It's always nice to have a bit of a walk, so there's an awful lot of deer that are set up for Christmas at Kew, so I'll see a lot of them even if I don't see anything else. So let's go. The Botanical Art Gallery, and I probably mispronounced that in my dyslexic brain. Let's have a look. These are cool little pieces quite big pieces of porcelain, but very impressive. I would definitely check out the exposition of expressions in blue. It's really quite interesting seeing porcelain, one that big for one thing, but also there's lots of pictures of flowers that are basically really well done, and also, as I say, very large porcelain that you generally don't see, that is towering above everything. So give it a go. It's on till the end of March, so I would say that is one of my recommendations of seeing when you're here. It's reasonably well signposted. I know it's a bit small on my wide lens at the moment, but we're walking towards the Japanese garden and the giant pagoda at the moment. So, and it will tell you how long things take in kilometres. So I'm not particularly the best at working that out from that, but it's nice. Not quite fortress-like gate, but it's a decent gate, and there's some stones around it. And there's always signs explaining what something is. So this is the passage of time, fashioned for the gardens. Ruins were a popular thing of Georgian gardens, so that is why it looks crumbled and all that. Because different points in history, people liked things to look really run down. Right ahead of us is the pagoda. It's not very big on this camera, it's a lot bigger in eyesight, but let's walk forwards a bit. There's a cafe over there, so it shows it's reasonably busy in this spot. I think this was supposed to be one of the quiet spaces from the accessibility map that I will put the link in, so yeah, let's just go into the cafe. And also, another thing to remind us, we're over a aeroplane flight route, so you might have to deal with some plane noises, but a good pair of ear defenders, if you're worried about that, will deal with that. Got toilets over there. But let's try and make our way to the pagoda a bit better. There should be a thing that gets us closer to it. But I think we need to go around there. Pigeon who, but I always like places like this because the trees I think are really interesting, because you know that they're reasonably old, so they can have some really interesting little shapes. And I'm not walking on the grass or anything like that because there's not necessarily signs, but when there's like little trees and all this stuff building up, I kind of stick with the old rule when I was a kid. Well, it's cold, but all the birds are definitely happy. As you can tell, I'm trying a slightly different style for my videos. One, because I'm completely in an empty space, apart from the birds. But also I thought, is this people what they want in videos, or do they want what I'm doing already? So, as I say, if you like one thing or the other, comment on it, and you know, I'll always try and improve, because if I can make things better for people, then it's all good. Oh, we got a straw, and we got a "This is Kew" sign. Okay, that is the pagoda a little bit better. I'm guessing you can walk on some of this stuff. Oh, that's the Chinese Grove, which makes sense with the it's a thing of being told off or told on filming, don't walk on stuff, and then to get closer to things you need to walk on grass. But oh well, the wonders of being told something's an autistic person and you following it to the letter, and then things change and then you have to work out what to do. But we all know that kind of part of life, so let's give it a go. It's not actually a nice place to walk to, even if, as I say, interesting big trees. Okay, so they helpfully give you a map. I'm trying to get to the Japanese garden, which should be further up. But as I say, it's nice that they give you a map. I have got some printed maps of the accessibility ones with me if I need to find more information, but they do kind of remove a lot of information off the maps, which of actually explaining what things are, which I don't think is particularly helpful, because sometimes, you know, you want to see what something actually is, as much as if it's quiet or if it's loud. And sorry for the plane again, but at least it gives a good indication of how many planes you're going to deal with. And as I say, everything is nicely signposted, so you know where you're going, and that is probably the best pagoda I'm gonna get. If you walk to the Japanese, if you walk to the Japanese garden kind of space, when you're walking, you will walk past a football ground on the other side of the Kew Gardens, or on the other side of the street, at least on a Sunday. So you'll hear a lot of whistles and kids, you know, being noisy for football and all that kind of stuff, of their football practice. So that's one thing to think about. But as I say, you can use indefenders and block lots of it out. It's not going to completely destroy your silence, so, or peace. But yeah, you basically will hear a lot of birds and a lot of birds with metal wings. So, you know, something to think about. But as I say, it is manageable. And if you do like the sound of birds and nature, then this is probably one of the places to do it. It's just the planes that might be a bit distracting, depending on your mindset. But yeah, lots of interesting different trees. Talking about full cypress trees. Which I didn't know there was fake ones, but obviously there are. Okay. The surfaces of the ground change a little bit because of course it's you know, it can go from like solid like stones to this, which is a bit muddy and a bit uncomfortable under your feet. But if you're outside and not walking on a pavement, you will have quite a lot of changes. Bench if you want to have a sit down. The cottage is currently closed, but it was very much used for picnics and a bit of a hideaway, which you can kind of see with what's around you, why the royal family and, you know, of King George III used this space, because we wouldn't have to deal with planes and just had to deal with wildlife and whatever servants presumably came to give them their picnic. So you can see why it was thing, and there are obviously places you can go on grass because there's benches around. Don't feel like having to sit down yet. So as I say, it probably will be open at other times of the year, but it's not open at the moment. So you can look at the outside. You can see all of the thatch and all those kind of things. But so as I say, at the moment with where we are, this is labelled as a quiet space, and you can see there is a bit of a chilled spot. But you know, if you can find your bench, or you can find somewhere to have a sit down, and then you just chill. As I say, I might not find all these spaces, and because navigation is not always my strong point, which is interesting to do a travel channel, but you know, we all make our own route for things, so let's do that. Inclined, you can see some stag beetle loggery that presumably you can see them at some points. Now it's back to hard ground without stones or anything in it particularly. There are bits and pieces, but it's a bit more benches that if you feel you need a little bit of a sit down and a chill, they're there, and there's some down there as well. So it is set out for if you, this isn't the longest walk in the world, but again, depending on how busy this gets, it could be quite nice to just have a place you can sit and while the world goes by. So this is a nice area of seating. It's a little bit unbalanced surfaces on the ground, but it is getting there, and you can go around. So, big tree branch, or big tree that's fallen down. Walk through the muddy bits. But yeah, as I say, plenty of seating that that you can take advantage of, and I feel we can take advantage of and sit and eat or chill if you need to, especially at this time of year. The usual trees falling down, bits of things. I'm not sure if that means the holes in the trees are things that people live in or not, but okay. So again, telling us where things are. Welcome to the Woodland Walk. So this is where the Woodland Walk presumably goes around. So we are here at the moment. So yeah, so it just goes around this space and then goes back out. So let's do that, because that's supposed to be, and then we'll continue walking across things as we go. We can always have a little bit of wander around and then try and find the lake and things. So, but yeah, as I say, it's not the biggest park in the world, but it's you got a decent amount to see. So let's do this. Okay. Ooh, little place where something's living, or hopefully living. You never know these time of year. We're walking on planks at the moment, or things, so they're a little bit they've got ridges on them, so just saying. Just and of course, when you do these things, you don't need to keep people out of shot, so you can just enjoy the view, which I am doing as well. But it always gives you a little piece of information about, so you've got conifers over here, which aren't really going to be showing very much at the moment because winter, as far as I can remember, and common juniper, which, as far as I remember, it's connected with alcohol, but so yeah, they're part of gin, so yeah, so things like respect the walk, or respect the greenery, so don't climb off it. That's a lime, I think. A lot more seating. I believe someone is being taught how to do something to do with boating or rowing or something similar to that. There's definitely someone on the river communicating something and giving instruction. But yeah. And yeah, there's seating all over. You can tell there's a popular space. Give it to. I'm not sure if this is still a quiet area or if this is getting more. There's more people definitely in this space than there was in the other ones. Sometimes trying to work out the direction of things is a little bit confusing to me, because they'll point in a direction I think they're pointing in, and then I get to the end of something and it tells me to go in the direction again, in the opposite way. Okay, so do I try and find some of the bigger buildings at the temperate stuff, or do I try and do the treetop walk? I really should see it, as it's a woodland like top walk. It should be high enough, but okay, so we've got lake crossing and all that. Let me have a look at my map and I'll work it out. Okay, so I made a choice to go to most of the buildings, or at least get more where there's slightly more going to be more people, so we can see at this time of year how busy it actually is. Because at the moment it's a quite big park, so there's been a few people, but I'd say max of 20, not that many. So I'm going to go to the places because there'll be more cafes, there'll be more stuff around there, so we can at least I can comment on it even if I can't necessarily film it. So yeah, let's see if we can get there and see what this is all about. How spectacular that is. Like, when you let trees do what they want to do, they are pretty spectacular. I mean, the top of it's gone, but everything else in it's reasonably good. Generally loads and loads and loads of Canada geese. Loads of them. Camera really isn't good enough to do it, and I don't want to get too close to them, but wow, there's a lot of them. You can kind of tell it's a lot popular space because just there's so many more birds that are actually on the ground than you usually get. We got everywhere else. A rather impressive tree. Respecting significant trees, please do not climb on them. Well, yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. This is the Orangery, which is one of the eatery places. Way off in the distance at the moment, there is a little, like, tram, cart, train, I'm not sure what you actually call it, but it can take you around and tells you what you're looking at around Kew. interestingly shaped structure. It's not like a base thing. It's they've worked out a lot of angles and a lot of like curves on it, which makes it interesting. I think it's definitely worth visiting. I'd say go away from busier times like now, and it's cheaper, and two, you have an awful lot less people to deal with. Everything has been manageable today. They're getting some of the temperate spaces and things like that were pretty busy, but they're not actually that big. You will have kids running around and doing things like that, but that's inevitable. But as I say, if it's a nice quiet day and all that, then it's very much worth going. Give it a go. See what it feels like to you.